Hello everyone, my name is Ivo and welcome to Cooking with the Coias, a channel where we love to share our recipes with you. And today folks, it's all about the calzone. Calzones are easy to make, they're fun to make, and they're delicious. And it all starts with one pizza dough. You could either buy it or make it. Today folks, we're gonna make our pizza dough because that's also fun and easy. So we're gonna start off with 250 grams of a high protein 00 flour of 12.5% protein or higher. And to that, and 250 grams is about 8.5 ounces or roughly 2 cups. I like to use weights because the cup measurements vary a bit and changes hydration. So 250 grams or 8.5 ounces of 00 flour. And I'm going to add to that a half a teaspoon of instant yeast. Now, if you use active dry yeast, I'd like you to use 1 teaspoon. But I'm using instant, so it's a half a teaspoon, which is about 1.7 grams. So we're just gonna mix that yeast into the flour. Okay, and now we can add, I have here 6 grams or 0.2 ounces of a fine table salt. You could also use sea salt if you'd like. It's about 3/4 teaspoon. And I also have the secret ingredient, folks, 1 teaspoon of diastatic malt powder, which is about 3 grams. And we're gonna mix that in. So those are our dry ingredients. To that, I have here 163 grams of warm water, warm meaning 80 to 90 degrees of water temp, and 163 grams is about 5.8 ounces. And before we mix it in with our dough, we're gonna add another secret ingredient, a very good extra virgin olive oil. How much? 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. This is going to add to the flavor and the elasticity and the smoothness of our pizza dough. Okay, so 1 tablespoon extra virgin olive oil. Now we can mix it all together and start to form our dough. So this is an easy way to make your dough because you're putting all your ingredients in all at the same time. And you're able to mix it and make your dough. So mix it all together till it forms more or less the shaggy dough. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually knead this dough. So let's take it out of our container. Okay. Get all that flour out. There we go. And now what you're going to want to do is knead this dough for about 5 minutes, because what we have to do now, folks, is we really have to get that gluten network working. So it's going to take 10 minutes of kneading, and it's simple to do. As I'm doing it, I'm picking up all the flour and basically just putting the dough in the palm of my hand. I'm pushing down and forward. That's your simple technique for kneading. And let's do this for 10 minutes until this dough is nice and smooth and elastic. Oh, and yes, your dough will be sticky, okay? But it'll get less sticky as you continue to get towards that 10-minute mark. And also, to help with the stickiness, you could put a little bit of flour on your counter and just rub a little bit of flour onto your hands. And once the 10 minutes is up, you're going to notice that the dough is still somewhat sticky, but doesn't necessarily stick to you like it did before. So there's a nice smooth and elastic dough right there. So let's give it a little rest for 1.5 hours. It's been 1.5 hours, so before we check on our dough, let's get our oven preheated. So here I have a nice piece of stone here. This one happens to be a real thick one. And I'm going to put it on the middle rack into the oven. And let's fire up our oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that's going to preheat now for about 30 minutes while our dough rests for another 30 minutes. But we've got to shape our dough. Let's go do that right now. And our dough has been resting nicely. there we have it. So let's take our dough out. And we're just gonna punch this down and shape it a bit into a round. So by shaping it is very simple. We grab one end, lift and fold, put it on top of each other. Grab the other end, lift and fold that end, lift and fold that end, and then quite simply turn it around, pull the dough ball towards you, and it grips the counter and it starts to shape into a round. Very simple technique. Oh, we got a nice little bubble there going, folks. Nice little bubble. There. Isn't that a nice round right there? Beautiful pizza round. And in keeping with the resting theme, this now needs this needs 30 minutes to rest, the same amount of time that our oven is preheating, 30 minutes, and then we'll put our calzone together. Now that our 30 minutes are up and our dough's been resting and our oven's been preheating, look at that beautiful dough, folks, right there. Okay, now it's time to have a little more fun. Let's take this dough out of its container. And now what I have here is I have some semolina flour. I like to put my dough on semolina flour, not on white flour, because the semolina flour does a nicer job when I gotta go launch this into the oven, and it also does not inhibit the flavor or change the flavor like a white flour does. So I get it coated in this semolina, which also makes it easier to handle, by the way. And I like to stretch this out just like you're making a pizza, okay? So you want to stretch it out into a round, just as if you're making a pizza. So I'm going to continue to do this until I get the round shape that I want, and make this a little bit bigger. We're going to thin this out just a bit more. So there's nothing fancy about this, folks. It's just letting the weight of the dough, as you work it around, let the weight of the dough stretch itself into a nice round shape. So yes, nothing fancy, no twirling, nothing like that. Just very simple, letting the dough stretch along itself. We're getting there. I'm going to stretch it just a little bit more. And I think I'm liking what I see right now. There we go. It's a good 12-inch round, almost 13-inch round right there. Okay, so now we're gonna have some fun. I've got this beautiful marinara sauce, and if you want to see my recipe for marinara sauce, I'll put a link in the description for you. You could use any of your favorite pizza sauce that you like. For calzone, I personally prefer to use a nice marinara sauce. But again, use your favorite pizza sauce, whatever that might be, and spread it around. Avoid the edges, okay, because we have to seal the edges, so we're going to avoid the edges. There we go, maybe a little bit more. So I used almost a half cup. In fact, why don't I just use it all? There we go. I normally don't measure, but I thought I would measure to help in case you're wondering. So I've used a half cup of marinara sauce there. Now, it's 3 cheeses. The most important cheese, folks, ricotta cheese. I have beautiful fresh ricotta here. And again, I normally don't measure, but let's do a measurement so that I can help figure out exactly how much I use. That's about a half cup right there. Now I got to get it out. Okay, that's a half cup. And we're going to put this beautiful ricotta cheese on half the pizza. Or not pizza, half the calzone. Again now, ricotta cheese is the key. It's the primary cheese that you want to use for the calzone recipe. And I think I'm going to add a little more. So at least another 1/4 cup. So that makes 3/4 of a cup of ricotta cheese. Look at that. That's looking good. Okay, now let me give a quick rinse here. Now our next cheese, I have here some grated mozzarella. This is 1 cup of grated mozzarella cheese. And yes, folks, this is going to be a 3-cheese calzone. That's what it's going to be. A nice blend of different cheeses. So 1 cup of grated mozzarella. There we go. The third cheese, folks, is the classic Parmigiano Reggiano. Now, there's a difference between Parmigiano cheese and Parmesan cheese. And if you want to know what the difference is, I will put a link in the description for you because I have a video on that. And we're going to sprinkle some Parmigiano Reggiano on our sauce that's exposed and also on our other cheeses. So I've used about 1/8 of a cup of Parmigiano Reggiano grated. Okay, now we're going to add a protein. Let's add some pepperoni. And as I'm adding this pepperoni, I will tell you that I also like to use in my calzone alternate ingredients. I like to use sausage sometimes. I also like to use muffaletta, which makes for a great flavor enhancer. But today it's about the 3-cheese calzone with pepperoni. And we're going to load it up pretty good. I think that's pretty good. So we have a layer of pepperoni. Very nice. And now what we're going to do is fold this over. So take the one end, fold it right over. There we go. And now what we have to do is make a seal on this edge. So I'm just going to kind of grab it, pull it over, and pinch it. Okay. Just so it doesn't leak. So we're going to pinch that over. It's already looking good, folks. It's already looking good. I mean, if it opens up, it's no real big deal because it'll be on the stone. But if we can avoid that, it's best to avoid it. Okay, so we've got it pinched over. And now what I like to do is with a bread lame or with a knife, just make 2 or 3 slits into the dough just so our calzone can breathe a bit. All right, let's get it on our pizza peel. All right, let's go put this in the oven. Oh my goodness, folks, I almost forgot. I can't forget about the extra virgin olive oil. We want to brush some extra virgin olive oil on top of our calzone. It's going to add flavor and color to our calzone. Almost forgot. Shame on me. Okay, it's important. I love my extra virgin olive oil. All right. Now you don't want to put too much. You don't want it dripping into your onto your stone, but this is one time that you just need to put a nice layer on it. Okay, let's go put this in the oven. Okay, and onto our stone we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Now folks, every oven is different. You're going to want to see a nice dark golden color on the top. Calzone is going to take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to cook. We want to make sure that all the inside gets cooked up as well. So 15 to 20 minutes. We'll see how my oven does today and check back in around 15, and then we'll kind of go from there. Okay, whoops. It's been 15 minutes. I want to take a peek. Oh, it's looking really nice. It's looking really nice, but I want more color. I want it a little bit darker, and I want to make sure that that inside is cooked up really, really nicely. So I'm going to let it go the distance, 20 minutes. If you have a smaller oven, it would have probably been cooked a lot more in 15. But general rule of thumb, the smaller the oven, the shorter the cooking time. The larger the oven, the more cooking time. So we're going to let it go the minutes, or let it go the distance, full 20 minutes. So we've gone the distance. It's been 20 minutes. Oven goes off. Let's take a look at our calzone. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's the color I'm looking for. That's the color I'm looking for right there. Wow. And we got a little sizzle going out of those 3 holes we made, but take a look at this calzone, folks, right here. It's got just the right color. Oh my goodness. Okay, this looks so good. Let's rest it now on a cooling rack. I gotta let it cool just a little bit, but we're gonna dig in and do the taste test. Now, while it's resting, let's take a peek at the bottom. Oh, beautiful, beautiful golden brown. I love it. Can't wait to dig in, folks. Can't wait. Okay, I can't wait any longer. Let's slide it off the cooling rack. I know it's still gonna be hot, but let's cut into this, maybe right here. I like this end's a little darker than that end. I like the dark, so I'm gonna start with this side, and I know Laura likes hers a little lighter, so she can have that side there. And maybe I'll just cut right here. Oh, that looks good. Oh, it's just oozing. It's just oozing. Look at that. And it's cooked right through nicely. Got some air pockets there. Oh, this is gonna be good. Let's go do the taste test, folks. Okay, yes, folks. I want you to take a look and see how everything is cooked ever so nicely inside there. That pocket is just filled with deliciousness right there. Okay, so I have a little bit of that marinara sauce. I like to use a little more as a dipping sauce. Okay, and it's a crusty piece. I'm gonna try this end first with that beautiful filling. So I'm gonna grab some of that marinara sauce. This, folks, is absolutely delicious. Those 3 cheeses, what an amazing flavor. And then, of course, the pepperoni. I've got some nice ricotta cheese oozing out of the side there. Let's take a little bit more of this marinara sauce. Let's take a bite there of that one. A little messy. My goodness, folks. Is that ever good? I know it's still steaming. It's still hot. But I couldn't wait anymore. And the inside is cooked perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. And that marinara sauce adds a beautiful enhancement to this calzone. Isn't it nice, folks, to make something yourself? Something as simple as this. And sit down and enjoy it. Enjoy it by yourself. Enjoy it with a friend. It just makes it taste that much better when you made it yourself. And as far as the dough goes, I know it's convenient to buy dough. So easy to make. And this dough is amazing. Folks, wherever you're tuning in from, as always, I want to thank you for spending time in the kitchen with me. I really hope you give this calzone recipe a try. It's really good. Till next time, buon appetito and salute. Oh yeah, I guess I better call Laura to get it while it's hot and make sure she gets at least half of this calzone.